When she first came to New York, it was a man's world. The art world was aggressively male. It was a cutthroat period, you know. I think it was very difficult to be a woman artist.
そしてニューヨークでもって私は死に物狂いで戦いました。美術のことで。そして一生懸命絵を描き、細かい網目の作品を作って、そしてそれが33フィートの大きさなの。朝から晩までその網を描いておりました。私がね、絵を描いてるとね、そしてその絵がね、床を見るとその絵がね、発展してて、向こう見るとね、幻覚が来て、全部ね、幻覚が渦巻って、それでね、結局私はね、エンバイラメンタル芸術家としてね、発展することになってました。
She was taking away your ability to focus, breaking all boundaries of space. And the exhibitions that I had, in particular the peep show, that did the job. It was an octagonal room, it was painted black, and there were openings where you could stick your head in. And the ceiling of it set up a series of lights. The rhythm of that machine was faster and faster. Up till Kusama, there were many artists from the Renaissance on who were involved with perspective and infinity, but it was all a fake because you knew, you as a viewer, you were always aware that you were the master, that it was a painting, it was encompassed by a frame, and the artist was playing with space, but it wasn't enveloping you.
脅迫的に押し寄せてくる集積、弾痕の集積といったものは私の大いに興味を惹かれる作品のテーマであります。集積っていうのは宇宙の星が一つだけでは存在しなく、地球も一つだけ存在しなく、全宇宙星の集積であります。で、私たちも結局花を見ると、それと同じ花がいくつもいくつもつながっていて、それに対して追いかけていくとパニック状態に陥って、私自身その花を食べてしまう。それは結局体の調子が悪くてね、あまりにも絵描きすぎて、それで具合が悪くてこっちの方に来まして。
To go back to Tokyo and to start from scratch again for Kusama was quite extraordinary because she wasn't known there and she hadn't been recognized. Clearly, the strains and stresses of life, the memories have forced her to withdraw. But what she's always done, she has always managed that process incredibly well. Kusama is now living in a mental institution, but by day, she occupies across the street in a busy suburban neighborhood of Tokyo, a very well-appointed studio facility where she has a team of assistants and she has a space for painting, she has a space for her library, her archive, and every morning she gets there and she's a consummate professional and she works from 9 to 6. And I think there's a sort of a managing madness about Kusama, which is so utterly sane, which is really interesting. She's used her trauma, she's used these experiences in her past. She's been able to harness experiences that might drive other people insane to enormously productive ends. She's an extraordinary person in that way.
stop sharing screen. I guess you're just, do you hear the music right now?
Yeah, you can stop the video maybe.
Hi, I'm honestly Sam Gray, and I have someone you need to meet. Japanese artist
sorry.
Yayoi Kusama.
Let me go back in there.
Okay, Dina, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, just one of those days, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so let me share again and I'll show you the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, any comments about that video or about Kusama?
What did they
I
say?
like her work. It's very,
Does she live in a mental
very
institution?
modern.
Yes, who was
It looks like she could be a fabric designer or textiles or wallpaper or something.
definitely
With
lots
her
of patterns.
visions. They're just
Absolutely. I mean, she's
beautiful.
flat pattern, right? You know,
Mhm, mhm.
I think the more I watch that, it's so extraordinary how she has negotiated her life with this mental illness, which seems honestly like a nightmare. I mean, really oppressive, right? And yet has continued. She's been so productive, you know. But what they were saying about she moves back to Tokyo. Partly what was happening was that she was becoming so successful in Europe, so well received, that she was getting too much work. And she was still an outsider. So she felt, you know, there was a lot of anxiety attached to that. So she ends up going home, but never stops doing her work. So here she is in this wonderful self-portrait. I love that there's dots in her eyes because, of course, as she said, this is what she's seeing. You know, she's creating in those environments, she's trying to make you off balance, you know, and cause a little bit of anxiety and unfocused, you know, to have us experience what she experiences all the time. But okay, so here's since my childhood, I've always made works of polka dots. Earth, moon, sun, and human beings are all represented by dots, a single particle among billions. What a way to live. And clearly there must have been terrible abuse in her background. Can you see the mirror in this? There's a room that's a mirror on the outside. And then you would peek through that rectangle, that square that's black, and then inside you'd see the universe, essentially, you know, black universe. Has anyone seen her work? Raise your hand if you've seen her work. Yes. Okay. It's very confusing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Obviously the dots, it's so interesting because she uses the dots. You can see she's making everything flat, and yet she is varying the width of the dots, which would give the illusion of shape, you know, something coming forward. Does someone have their have music going on or something? So it's both flat and curved at the same time, which is interesting. So both 3D and 2D. And obviously always fun.
Dina, some people are writing in the chat for you.
Oh, they are, okay. Can you read it to me? I don't see them. I can't see them right now.
Sure. E says that they saw a PBS special about her and learned about her for the first time during the pandemic.
Oh, nice.
And then another question that E asks is her exhibit still at the Botanical Gardens in the Bronx?
I think that was last year's exhibit. So I don't think so. They would have someone new this year, but I know, I'm sorry, I missed that. That would have been great. And yes, she's obsessed with pumpkins, not only dots, but pumpkins, as you could see here. These are major, these are very large pieces. And there she is. And then there's also, you know, these are called phalli. So I don't have to tell you what they're supposed to resemble. And this is my favorite work of hers, actually. because there's a little bit more variety, honestly. The piece on the right is called Germ. Okay. And there's just, it's beautiful. She really, I mean, it really shot. I think I saw this at the Whitney once. It's with a brush. So she's using ink and a brush and then adding with watercolor and ink, which is, I think it's just spectacular. And look at this sort of cross hatching in here, right? So she's goes from a thin line to thick lines, varying widths, very different from her other work in a way. This is one of the infinity nets. Okay, so this was something on the left where, again, you're supposed to lose yourself in, okay, because she apparently is lost in them. And the color is so wonderful there. Then I just thought we would look at some patterns. This is a Moroccan pattern, just, you know, very symmetrical, which her work actually normally is very symmetrical. It's funny, this all looks the same, but actually there's some variety in there. These are pictures I took in Marrakech because I thought, well, I thought these might be inspiring. A lot of fences and ironwork, you know, has scrolls to it. This I just love. And this souk, you know, it's very hot there. And so they have this lattice work up here to not only cool the streets, but then you have, as the sun moves across the sky, you have the pattern going across the walls, the street, and the other wall. It's just spectacular, spectacular. And then patterns. So I couldn't resist these. Here, the patterns are flat, right? Someone said she could, was it Suzanne? I'm sorry, oh, it was Dina, I think. She could have been a fabric designer. You see how flat things are? This is earlier in the Renaissance, this is by Pisanello. And you can see how flat it is, not really curved around the body, as beautiful as it is. And then you see later on during the Baroque period, this Veronese, where now the pattern is folded over, much more realistic. Oh, these were some, this is basically what we're doing today. So everyone has a permanent marker, basically a black permanent marker. You can do what you want, or even if you have permanent black ink, and we'll be doing patterns, and then, you know, you do what you want, of course, and this is watercolor over it. These are children's work. Here's another artist who does a similar thing, Ruby Sky Styler, with patterns and figures. It looks a little bit like manga works, right? And then I was thinking as I was working on this a little bit, that it really reminded me of Miro. Everyone knows Miro, the Spanish artist, right? Anybody know who this is down here? It's such an interesting similarity to me.
Is it Kandinsky?
Yes, who said that?
Susan.
Susan, thanks, Susan, exactly. So we have Russia and Spain, and look at the similarity in a similar time also, you know. But obviously, well, Miro, of course, is doing freehand more, whereas Kandinsky is using straight edges or circles. But interesting comparison. So let's see. Okay. So what I thought we would do is I started doing some just some drawing, you know, with a Sharpie type of a work. By the way, if you're using Sharpie, keep the window open. I think I almost started hallucinating after a while. You know? It's very potent stuff. Okay. So, and then I'm going to put some watercolor over it eventually, right? Does everyone have those materials with them, or what is everyone using? Okay, great. Thank you, Lily. Anybody else? You can use whatever you want. Listen, you can use collage if you want, and I guess you all know that. But that's it. I'm not at the point where I'm going to do any watercolor yet, but I'll let you know when I do. Okay, I'm going to fill in more. Okay, any questions?
No, but Dina, there was one more comment from E.
Oh, yes.
It says, in the PBS program, it showed her painting, and amazing how she systematically painted circles that became dots and the patterns that appeared on the canvas, and how quickly she created the designs, and patterns were obviously performed in her mind, no sketching of the designs first.
Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for that, E. That's interesting because, you know, in fact, she's working spontaneously, right? She's not doing something with a pencil, designing it, erasing, going back, because, you know, I think that's part of her survival, possibly, right? She's working intuitively. So good observation. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, everybody okay to start? Questions? Hi, Jane.
Hey, I did have one. I just wanted to make an observation about that self-portrait. Like, I noticed the patterns that in this portion of the dress that she had made a striped pattern. It was, you know, really interesting. So, you know, because she's able to render patterns within her dot pattern.
Yes, yes. Oh, she's not just confined to dots, absolutely. And kind of well, look at the material she's working with too. She's basically using a Sharpie. You know, no wonder she's got no wonder she's got issues, but with the toxicity of that. But so she's sitting there, and essentially, to my mind, she's doodling. You know, she has a vocabulary of marks at this point in her life, particularly. You know, and she's not yet, especially at the beginning there, where you see she's making those triangles. How accurate, how straight those lines were. Because it's, you know, she's so accustomed to doing it. So anyway, well, thanks, Jane. Good observation. Okay. All right. Hi, Robin. We have Lily. Okay, great. So I see what I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear me talking to myself. Okay.
We just hear ourselves talking to ourselves.
Dina, Lily Zane says the Bronx Botanical Show was magical to see in the pandemic. Maybe unmute yourself.
I really need you today, Laura, apparently.
It's okay.
So Lily, were the pieces outside and inside?
They were both, but it made me realize how she must live. Like she's, you know, she's in an institution and then she's outside. And a little bit, it kind of rang true to me because we're in isolation in the pandemic, and then we were able to go out to see her work. It really hit home for me how separate her life must be. And to kind of experience that in the botanical garden was really beautiful.
That's beautiful. I mean, what a perfect show for the time. Interesting.
Yeah, it really was.
You know, the Morgan had a wonderful show on African-American artists who, how do I put it? well, who didn't have training, let's say, right? And were descended from slaves, if not nearly slaves themselves. And I remember I was looking at the work, I did some programs on it and realizing that there's so much doodling that went on, right? A lot of it is doodling. And when you look at it, you realize that they're turning the page around. When you doodle, you don't necessarily have one point of view, right? You're turning your paper this way and that way. And so I'm just encouraging you to turn your paper around and come at it from different sides if you want to try that.
I have another comment. Can I read it to you? From E. You want to read it? Or you want me to read it out loud?
Well, it'd be great if you could read it. Thank you.
Okay, and it says, and the finished designs didn't appear to have any ratio flaws. Sorry. Everything fit perfectly on her canvas. Works
Right.
almost machine made rather than individually handcrafted. Found it very impressive.
Interesting. Well, she appears when you see her to be in a state, let's say, almost like she's hypnotized in a way. So maybe that helps. Maybe we're all too distracted, right?
Definitely. And Dana, do you know how old she is?
She's 93. So she's earned her rest, but she apparently wants to continue. can periodically, you know, stand up and look at it, get some distance from it, turn it upside down. Especially with something like this. Would anyone like to show us what they're doing? Can you put it closer, Suzanne? Oh, let me. Okay, stay still. Oh, nice. Wow. That's a thick marker. Beautiful. Do you have a still life there?
No. I'm inspiring myself from a painting.
Good. Beautiful. I love it. Wow, I love the lines in that bottle. Very, very nice. Do you want to show me that watercolor that you sent? So nice. You know, what I really like about it is how you use the white, that you exercised restraint and left the white, because the white, if you add white, it will never be as bright as the white of watercolor paper, right? So it really gives it life. It's just beautiful. I love the way you handle the shadow and the shape of the handle there, I guess it is.
Does it look like a rock? Because I showed it to a friend of mine who said that he couldn't tell that was like a base of a rock, and I didn't know if that
the dark part underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a shadow actually. So I guess, I mean, you've made a good attempt there on, well, what to me is the left, you know, where the lighter part is. You know, with watercolor, you can wet a paper towel and go back in and pick it up. And I would say, because underneath the dandelion, I guess that is, it's kind of flat. It doesn't have dimension, and that might help it to make it look more like a rock. Not easy to paint a rock, by the way. So you set yourself up there, but
I can
what is that again? Is it
the shadow underneath the rock? There's shadow. I don't know if you can tell. Does that need to be darker? I was wondering about that too.
the shadow going down to the bottom of the paper?
Yeah, you can see, this is shadow from the rock.
Right.
And I was wondering if that should be darker.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you could lighten up the black of the rock, I think it would work well.
Okay.
So you know what you do, you just dampen a paper towel and you lay it over it and pat it.
Yeah.
And it should still even remove some of that.
Right, and make it a little less dark. I'll try that.
All right, good luck. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can do it.
Okay, well, I did actually for up here, because it was darker and I lightened it after I'd finished it. It felt
Well, that works really well, right?
It was
Very
too
nice.
value wise in terms of the, outside.
Right. That's a beautiful shadow on the bottom. And I just, again, don't take it away any more of the paper. You know, you've got just the right amount of the paper white there. So excellent.
Okay, so I'll try doing the rock and making it a little less. Thank you, Dina.
Sure.
Dina,
Yes.
it's Susan. I did something Kusama like a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
So I'll just show
Let me
this.
unpin. Let's see. Oops. Right now I pinned my 15. Hold on a second.
Can't really see it.
Susan, it's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Lily.
Wow.
Fabric and marker.
Love it, love it.
Well, that is certainly Usama like, oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. So the part, could you get really close with that, the curved part?
Yeah, that's a piece of fabric.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's some African fabric I ordered online. And then I went like Australian, Aborigine dot. Yeah.
I love how, I think it's just wonderful how you made the contrast you had with these rich colors and dark colors, and then you had this subtle sort of sandy color in the background, the dots.
Yeah,
make all the difference.
Yeah, they're light colored dots. Yeah, that was one of my fun pieces that I did.
Beautiful.
I started it in class and then finished it at home because I never finish anything.
Well, you did that time. So what are you working on? What are you doing today?
Today, I just started doing this kind of
nice.
thing.
It looks like the moon crying.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It probably is. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks for showing us. Margot? Are you there, Margot?
Yes, I'm trying to do stuff, but I'm yet.
Because before I was just looking for some paper to paint on, and I came across these dog pictures since you showed the cat. But I did of my friend's dog. I don't know if they're too light to see. Can you see that?
Down. Yeah, it's pretty light. Oh, wow. Awesome. That is awesome.
And let's see, I couldn't resist him, so I kept doing him, I guess. So,
Oh,
he's sweet. He's so sweet.
oh, he's precious, Dina. Oh,
he's so sweet. He was like a coon. This is too light. I think this one, you can barely see that. And then I came across this one too. Now, I think this was just from a photograph.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He's
Those
cute.
are great.
He doesn't have the charm of the coonhound.
Aw.
Anyway.
Very nice.
Thank you. Well, all this to say you should be painting the cat.
Yeah, right. If they stood still long enough, maybe, but I'm trying to keep them out of danger zones.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah. I keep wanting to go behind the china closet. That is not an option.
You need a playpen.
Hi, Dina, it's Pat. I'm
Hi, Pat.
Hi, I have something I can show. I'm not sure if it's finished, but not sure you can see.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love the pattern. Look at that.
I started it, I think, a month ago or so at this class, and I think I finished the face today. And
I love it.
I love the tail. That is, and the fabric, it is just wonderful. I love the variety and the widths of the stripes.
Beautiful.
You know, it makes it so much more interesting. Wow. So are you?
and how bold it is too. So fun.
Really bold. Yes. Who was that? Lily. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it's not typical me. It's not the thing I typically do.
No,
so it's kind of fun with the Sharpie.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What are you doing with the backgrounds? Do you have plans?
No plan, probably because the type of paper, I'd probably just keep it as is because I don't think it takes paints or, watercolor very well. It's very kind of thin.
Mm-hmm.
But I might scan it and then try to play around on my computer on the safe side.
Okay, that's fine.
Here are the two
And
monsters.
I have another one, I think, from the same artist that I did.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm
Gorgeous.
not finished, but I'm struggling because I find I don't want to fill the whole empty space with the triangle. I kind of struggling where I leave it open.
Gorgeous.
Is that watercolor?
No, it's actually color pencil because it's the same type of paper. I was worried it will wrinkle a lot. But I don't know if you see, I added a stick just for a sense of humor. I added a stick back there. I don't know what you call that in English. It's like a
praying mantis.
Yes, some sort of mantis that look like a stick.
We've got one person here. Yes, exactly. It's a stick, and you fooled me, which is what that's what they do, right? A praying mantis. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna finish with the ginkgo leaf, then I'll probably done.
So the web-like design there is your addition. That's your imagination, right?
Yeah, imagination inspired from the artist today. because she had some background, also had like a lot of triangles. So
Right, absolutely. Well, I think you made the right decision, leaving parts open. You know, I think that was really a great move. Very nice. And I like the way you handle the edges also, that it's irregular. It's not right up to the edge. Beautiful. We'll keep
Thank
going.
you.
Is that what you're working on now, Lily?
yeah, that's what I'm
Lily,
working
sorry.
on now. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
So Dina, just a time check, we're at 11:35.
Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, you do have time, but if anyone would like to share what they're doing, that would be good. I can just show you what I'm doing, which is,
I can share.
oh, good, great. Who's that?
Marga. I'll put my video on. Hold on. Oops. Sorry, glare. Let's see if I can. All right. You see it?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a little dark, but oh, I think when you held it, can you tilt it a little bit? Because it gets lighter or darker depending.
There we go.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. So what did you use to do that?
The giraffe, and I used Sharpies to fill it in, but I didn't have brown, so I used gold for where you'd normally have brown, and orange and yellow markers, not markers, Sharpies.
Nice.
Love it.
What's your favorite part of it? I mean, it's all wonderful, but what do you like about it, Marka? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know today, yes.
The subject matter, I guess. No, in fact, the trying to do the shading with dots was interesting.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's lots of variety in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I tried to do, you know how you blend markers, but Sharpies don't blend.
That's an important discovery, yes.
I tried it on paper and I said, that's not.
Yes, you could cross hatch, and kind of alternate in a way, but but
Yeah,
what you did was great.
It's
Yeah.
so thick on these, even though they're fine points, it's a little hard to manage. So I just did dots, and I know you can't really see the detail of the colors that are in this probably, but because of the.
Oh, okay. There are a variety of colors. Well, I love the gold. It's just such a smart thing to do.
Thanks, yeah. So it's closest to brown I had. So
very nice. Very nice.
Thanks. There. This off. Cut off. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay. Anyone else want to share what they're doing? Oh, I'll just show you what I was doing, which I did not complete, but anyway, I was just playing with the designs.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It's very healing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Doodling type, approach. So I still don't know which is the top or the bottom. I usually like the heavier parts to be on the top, so we'll see where it ends up.
I can share. I didn't finish, but I will at some point. Didn't get very far. I don't know how to hold it onto it this way.
Love the shapes.
Yes, I see the theme. It seems to be related to what you did before, what you showed us before.
Yeah, I like those shapes. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, but I will finish it at some point.
It's got a lot of movement in it too. Very nice.
Thank you.
Are you framing already? That's great.
Oh, this is for another piece that I did. I'll show you. It's my mandala.
Hey, where are you?
Oh,
my mandala.
wow, that's beautiful and wild. That's so
Yeah, we did that mandala in class on a Tuesday a few weeks ago. Yeah, so
very nice.
I ordered a mat for it. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. I love the looseness in the background. Again,
Yeah,
contrast.
That was watercolor and then some, watercolors. I found gold watercolors. I really like them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like working with, see, gold keeps coming up. I also love gold. The only problem is it doesn't reproduce well, of course, but that's okay.
Oh, well, who cares? Who's no putting my stuff in a book, so.
We'll see. Great, thank you.
Dina, I'll share.
Sure, great. Let me,
Dina?
yes, thank you, Heather.
It's from yesterday's. I started.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Wow.
How did you do the dots, Heather?
Okay, there's gold, acrylic gold, and then those are seed beads.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
This must have taken you a while, or you glued them, right?
Yeah, not done yet, almost done. And
That's
then
gorgeous.
there's pastel for the color.
Excellent. And how did you handle the glue?
The glue, I'm going to be in the mental institution.
You and Kusama.
Kusama, because I just grabbed what I had and it was rubber cement.
Oh no. So you put down a swath of rubber cement and then you put the, well,
Right.
I
Yeah.
love what you did. I love, now, is this the one where you had, did you cut it out?
This is the second one, and it wasn't the blind one.
Okay.
Here's the first one, which I didn't
Right.
like that much. And then my blind one is over there, which I really liked, and I'm not touching. And then this is the one I actually moved by accident.
Mhm. I love what you did. I mean, it has so much movement to it, you know, and again, dimension, you always seem to create some depth. Just beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Lots of texture also.
Yeah, but the fumes.
You gotta open the window, Heather. Okay, great. Anybody else?
I can share too.
Sure, great. Here, let me.
So just
Oh, that's wonderful. And
triangle.
go ahead. I'm
See,
sorry.
it's me.
Wow. And what did
Can't
you do
see
it
it.
with?
Just Sharpie, and then I use something to draw this very good, and this I draw by hand, so they are not perfect at all.
Which we like, that's fine. It's amazing. I mean, how creative to hone in, to really focus in on the detail. Just beautiful. Wow. Just gorgeous. And that's the way you're going to hold it. Would you mind just turning it around for us so we could appreciate it from every angle?
It's just it can be like this.
That's really nice too, right? Wow. Yeah,
I really like to play with simple forms and just the color and the paper, black and white, I love, so very inspiring.
Very nice.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing it. Oh my goodness, Fran. And Fran is your name? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, you can say friends.
Thanks,
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Beautiful. Really beautiful.
Hi, Dina.
Hi.
It's Jane.
Hey, Jane. Okay.
So I don't know if you hear the sound in the background, if it's a little disturbing, it's some drilling downstairs.
We live in Hoboken. You know, I had a helicopter hovering over my head all morning. I don't know why still. I understand. We
Okay.
Anyway.
So, and my mouse is a little sluggish today, so I'm trying to keep it on the mute button so I can mute quickly if necessary. Anyway, I am just back last night from an arduous bike trip.
How did
And
that
so,
go?
you know, it's exciting to be back home, and I'm so happy to join you guys today. So I picked up on something I was working on and decided that in the spirit of dots, I'll work in hearts. Still working on this. So I added a couple, I'm doing kind of collage, and I'm having problems with this, but I'm getting there, working
Very
on it.
nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it's collage, and then you've painted on top of it, or?
Well, it started out around Valentine's Day. We did what did we use? Oh, Liz came with pre-painted. She had pre-painted some pages, and then I worked on top, and then I cut them and assembled them. So I just keep working on it. Now I'm working on these images of homes and making hearts out of them and adding to the piece. So
Oh, very nice.
having
Now that you're
fun.
back at home, it seems to make sense.
Yeah. And, coming home last night, it was like coming out of a bubble and then being confronted with the news. And so I'm kind of working with it. I'm really thinking about what it means to be in a bubble, enjoying a bubble, and then come out and return to your home and things that you love. And so I'm working with that theme.
Very nice. Well, a heart. Oh, sorry. Do I have it? Am I muted? No. A heart makes sense for today. I agree. It's
yeah. So,
I know.
It's so good to see everybody also. So thank you, everyone. It's so nice to come home and see these beautiful faces and beautiful work. It's really inspiring. Yeah. Oh, and just one other thing. So the last spot that we stayed was in a town called Fayetteville, which is very near to Syracuse. And we stayed in this amazing place, amazing, bed and breakfast where this guy, Andres, is an artist, and he talked about his growing up as a child in Russia as in art school, and the rigors of it, and the house is filled with his work, and it's really interesting to see someone just living his art and doing all kinds of things. So very inspiring for me too. And he was very honest about his work. He kept referring, like we did a little tour, and he referred to the work that was a depiction of someone else's work, like famous Russian artists. If he did a copy, a rendering, he was really honest about it. He said, this is not my original, this is my version of, and then he did this self-portrait of his face in the fashion of a Russian general in armor. Really, he's a character.
Did he do that recently? I mean,
I don't know. They're all over the place. They've got this, the house was museum-like and all this works of art. I don't know how recent. He did show me a book of work that he did in markers, and they were just fantastic. And then he would write a story in the margins, top, bottom, sides, about what he was thinking on that day. Unfortunately, it was in Russian because it was so beautifully written. It was part of the artwork. Anyway, so yeah, it was an interesting experience.
So it was a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, it was our crowning place. We rode from Hoboken, from New York to Syracuse, and it was our last stay. So it was a big moment. Woo-hoo.
Oh, okay. Good. Hope to hear more about it in the future. That sounds great, Jane. Wonderful. We were just hanging around, sitting here doing nothing as you did that. So. Anyone else? Let's see. Robin, would you like to show us what you're doing? You don't have to, but.
Yeah, I came in late to the class and I didn't get a grasp of what you all were doing. But I had just had a photograph of some, in the fall, I don't know, this is just the beginning of, it has nothing to do really with what you guys are doing.
Fine.
But all I heard was black marker. So I used a black pen, and it's, maybe if I can show you I don't know if it makes any sense.
Oh, well, it makes sense to me, but it doesn't mean I'm seeing what you did, but.
and it's just the beginning, actually, and I'm going to continue after class. That's a cat.
Yes. We have a lot of animals today. Yes.
Yeah, really.
Animal.
Yeah, it's a good thing you told us. I was wondering how that.
But this was so wonderful of an area where it was just all rush, you know how it is in like in the winter when you still see foliage, but it's all turned gold and it's dark, and there's a whole lot more going on that I want to do on this. But anyway, it was just the beginning.
Well, I'm glad I read it correctly.
I've been painting for a long time, so.
You really do have the sense that you're in the middle of trees, you know,
Yeah.
branches.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was very thick, and it was very, just wanted to get an impression, but I want to work on it more. I love the watercolors that, like you were talking about, what you can do with them. I mean, you can make them very light. You can take them away with a napkin or something. I mean, and I haven't worked in watercolor for a long time. So anyway, I'm just going to work more on this and see what happens.
So beautiful.
Are you going to be here next week?
No, there's no class next week.
There's no class next week? Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it was nice meeting you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Robin, I should have explained. It's just I had a tickle in my throat, so I couldn't go further. But basically, I think they're taking a week break for the class, and I think they're coming back as hybrid. So first, they have to figure out the technology of that. You know how they're going to.
What does that mean?
Hybrid means that some people will be at the library, and some people will be remote. So I don't know which one you prefer, but.
Well, it so happens that my physical therapy is right around the corner, and I'm in Hoboken. So I'm hoping to be able to mesh the two together. I live up in Union City, so I've been hesitant to come down, but we'll see. But thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. Okay.
Which I'm in physical therapy also. Probably half the people are, but which one are you going to?
The Miles Square, or right by 6th Street on Washington.
Yes, that's the one that I go to also. In fact, after this, where do you think I'm going?
IV rehab now, guys.
IV rehab, yes.
So maybe I'll run into you. What time do you go?
I think it's 1:40.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for clarifying, Dina. I was wondering, I was like, oh no, I was looking forward to resuming, but taking a week off to work out the details sounds good.
And then Liz will be back after that. She'll be back from Senegal, and I'm sure filled with stories. So that should be really interesting.
But we'll miss you.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Thank you for
Yeah,
keeping
Dina,
the
I
clock.
wanted to mention that we've actually looked at Yayoi a few times with Liz, and it was nice to just have the contrast of your selections and your thoughts on her.
It was actually Liz who chose it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that I would have, tell you the truth, but I mean, she's a wonderful artist. I just haven't had a lot of exposure to her. But
yeah, it's just a lot of fun to hear your thoughts on her work, and just another practiced, thoughtful commentary,
That's good. Oh, that's good.
It was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Because Liz was called, the Senegal trip was unexpected. So she already had Namjoon Paik and Kusama on the schedule. So, which was good. I mean, I normally wouldn't have picked him either, but because he's a video artist, but it was nice to learn more about him.
Yeah, I was looking forward to you being able to do your own thing, John, but it's okay. We love you.
Thank you.
And I think I'm done with this thing, but unless I find a marker.
Well, you did a really great job. Let's see. Pat, did you want to show us what you're doing?
I was kind of picking up old pieces and adding on like different things. So I find this one, I don't remember when I did it, but like mixed media, like cut paper, and then I splashed the red acrylic paint, and now I'm adding some gold details just so to give some dimensions.
Wow. Could you hold it back so we could see the whole piece a little bit? Oh, nice. Okay, so which parts are paper and which parts are paint, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, so these are cut paper with 2 different layers. Oops. And then these are splash paint that I use, I think a palette knife. So just smash it on to create the blasting effect.
Nice. Yes. It's so interesting because the way you use the paper and the paint is so similar, which is really kind of smart because it makes you look longer, right? What is the paper and what is the paint? So that's a poster paint or acrylic?
It's acrylic paint. I didn't thought about it when I do it, but thank you.
And what's on the bottom part of it? I couldn't see the bottom.
It's just some shapes that represent leaves, small leaves, but much further at the back because it's darker color.
Very nice. Oh, you always come out with some beautiful things. Is that on cardboard or what is that?
Yeah, it's just a cardboard.
Okay. Very
Left
nice.
for material. Thank you.
Very nice. Very interesting. Lots of movement.
E has a question for you in the chat. And she asked, which Asian artist would you have selected since that's this month's theme, out of curiosity?
I had a list before I found out, and now I can't remember. Who was asking that? Oh, E. There were a couple. I'm sorry, I can't tell you right now but there was some wonderful, can't think of his name. He uses fireworks. I can't think of his name right now. I probably would never know how to pronounce his name anyway. One uses fireworks, which were just gorgeous. He created Sky Ladder. It's this wonderful film on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's seen it, where the fireworks, it's the illusion that the fireworks are going up into the sky. He used a helium balloon.
Wow.
That was wonderful. And then there was a woman, Pachita. I can't think of the last name, but I also loved her work. So anyway, it's always good to see Kusama. I mean, she's so inspiring.
Are you familiar with
mention? Oh, sorry, Margot.
Sorry. Are you familiar with Tai Wong? They did a PBS special on him recently.
No, I don't think so.
Do you mean Tyrus, Margot?
Yeah, I think that's his full first name, Wong.
Well,
last
that's
name.
so great minds, Margot. So I was just going to mention that like a few months ago, I had discovered that I had purchased these prints, and they were from Tyrus Wong. And then I did some research on him, and I can show you the print that I haven't yet hung.
Sure.
But he was credited after the fact for he was the lead illustrator for Bambi, for Disney's Bambi.
Right, they did a PBS special on it recently. Jane, you might want to check out.
Is that recent?
Yeah.
Because I saw one, I went and looked online and I shared some links. But this was like such a discovery after owning these pieces for so long. And
wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I have two of them. I have another, the other one is hung in the corner, you can see it. And I almost got rid of them, but then I had them reframed with this. I had them reframed with a much smaller matting, and now I love them. And then I discovered a tiny little mark in the corner, and so I was able to find out what they are.
Excellent.
That's a watercolor or a cell? A watercolor?
It looks like watercolor, but it is, I think it's a lithograph. I think it's a print.
I love his style.
I know. Don't you love the light on the deer?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he was so inspired, and he did a lot of this. I mean, these were clearly inspirations for Bambi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me realize who I would have loved to choose, actually. Hokusai, right?
Who's that?
Hokusai, the Japanese woodcut artist who, I think Japanese, who made waves. He would do these incredibly beautiful woodcuts with waves.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been interesting, right?
Has anyone done any, Dina, have you looked into the Netsuke, what's also known as Nitsuki?
Oh, the little figures?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how we would have done that, but they're very interesting. Yeah.
Maybe next year. Because there was a recent exhibit, there was an exhibit at the Jewish Museum. This guy, Edmund van der Waal, who inherited this collection of what he calls them Netsuke. And he's a quite a renowned potter in his own right. And it's he did an amazing job. He wrote the book Hair with the Amber Eyes, which is one of the Netsuke, and then it was featured in the exhibit.
Wow, no, I missed that show. Well, it's 12:02, everyone. Do you know where
my stomach tells me it's 12:02.
Yep.
Did we, Dina, did we hear from Doris?
Is Doris here?
Yeah, Doris is here.
Doris. Hello, Doris.
Hello.
I don't know you. I'd love to see what you were doing. Thank you.
So I was playing around with watercolor and the marker.
Isn't that wonderful? How
Beautiful.
close to being finished are you, Doris?
Not even close.
So you will fill up. Will there be any white left?
I'm debating what to do around the shape that ended up turning into a bird, which
I love bird.
I love it.
That's the accident. It looked great.
I love that circle near it. That's so wonderful with all the, all the little sections in it. So wonderful. It's very stained glass.
It was very soothing to do.
It was very, very much, very healing. Thank you so much, Doris.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Dina, do you remember Kuchita's last name?
Kuchita?
Yeah, is it first name?
Her first name was Pacita. I wish I could. And I just threw out the paper the other day because I thought, oh,
P
well,
is in Peter. P is in Peter.
P as in Peter. Let me see. ACITA, if I'm
Okay.
remembering correctly.
Hopefully it's an unusual enough first name to find.
Right. Well, in this country, I don't know.
Pasita Abad.
I think.
Is it Pasita Abad? A-B-A-D. She's
I'm looking
Filipino. Filipina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pasita Barsana Abad.
So Filipino doesn't cover Pacific Islander or Asian. It doesn't come under that category.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, right. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's a little. Who knows? Maybe she was inspired by Kusama, right?
We don't know. Could be. No, I'm just dying, for new artists to look at.
Yes. No. I mean, I'm just saying that it does look. There's a similarity, isn't there? Oh, how beautiful that is. Okay. Well, anyway, there you go.
Okay, thank you, dear, for another lovely class.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
great.
I love seeing everyone. Nice to meet people I didn't know, like Doris and Robin.
Thank you.
Great, beautiful work, all. And now I'm going to have lunch and then go to physical therapy.
There you go.